A few days ago, my life completely fell apart. In a way, I guess I always had doubts. Small things that didn't add up. Moments where my wife's behavior felt off. Our marriage had been rocky for years, but I never had a concrete reason to believe she was unfaithful. Still, something about my younger child pushed me to get the answers. I secretly took a paternity test. The results came back a week ago. What I suspected for a while. Neither of my two children, my 5-year-old boy and my 2-year-old, are biologically mine. That night, I walked out. I couldn't stay in that house pretending everything was fine and being a father to 2 kids that aren't mine. My wife flipped out when she found me gone somewhere around 11 p.m. and started bombarding my phone. Finally, I confronted my wife via a video call. At first, she tried to deny it, but when I threatened to unalive myself, she admitted there was a real chance I wasn't a father. I suspect she knew all along, but was hoping to keep up the lie. Since then, I've been staying at a place owned by a friend, with my close friends helping me manage day-to-day life. I reached out to a lawyer to see what I could do. The legal system where I'm from makes contesting paternity for a child born in a marriage complicated. Since my oldest child's already 5, the law assumes I've been his father for too long. I can't contest paternity for him. But my youngest is only 2, which means I can still fight this in court. My lawyer says we have a shot, but it's probably going to be a long, drawn-out court battle that'll bleed me dry. My lawyer said we need to track down the real biological father. If we can prove who he is, that might strengthen my case, and we might even be able to get him to claim my first child. But the problem is, I got no clue who the man is. My wife has so far kept her lips shut about the identity of him. Or maybe she doesn't even have an idea who he is. I can't imagine a worse scenario. Right now, I'm stuck in this horrible limbo. I don't feel any love for these kids anymore. Does that make me some kind of psychopath? How can I not feel anything for these kids that I brought up for years? I feel so utterly broken. I'm a shell of my former self. I have no idea what my future looks like. And I don't know what kind of relationship, if any, I'll have with them when this is over. Update 1. It's been a few weeks since D-Day, and things have only gone downhill. I served my wife with divorce papers, and everything has changed. At first, she was still trying to act like this was just a rough patch, and would call and text constantly, trying to get me to FaceTime with the kids as if I was just away on another business trip and we were doing our daily video chat. She acted like I just needed time to cool off and that I'd eventually come around. But when I stopped answering, when I shut down any interaction beyond what's legally necessary, that's when she got a reality check. Now she's behaving erratically. The crying and pleading turned into full-blown rage. She's going around calling me a wuss who abandoned my children like I wasn't the one who was lied to and deceived for years. She says I'm destroying our family over something that doesn't change anything. Well, I told her that biology is important to me and I never signed up to care for kids who aren't mine. Her family's turned on me completely. I've been getting messages from her parents, her siblings, even some of her cousins, all telling me I'm making a horrible mistake. Her aunt said biology doesn't make a father, and I should think of the children before walking away. Mutual friends have also started weighing in. Some are saying I should at least wait until the kids are older or that I should just stay in their lives anyway. No one seems to care that I was manipulated, that I was robbed of the truth. Nobody seems to be holding my wife accountable for what she's done. It's all about how I should keep playing my role for the sake of keeping things easy for everyone else. Legally, I'm stuck with my oldest. Where I'm from, I can't contest paternity for him because I've been his father for too long. But my youngest is only 2, so I still have a shot. I've already done a second paternity test to make it official, and I'm waiting on a fertility test to see if I can prove I was never able to have kids in the first place. If it comes back the way I think it will, my lawyer says it might strengthen my case even with my oldest. But even with that, it's an uphill battle. And then there's the kids. This is the part that's eating me alive. My oldest keeps asking me when I'm coming over, and I don't have an answer for him. My youngest doesn't understand, but I know he feels it. I still love them. In a way, I guess. I raised them. I watched them being born. They're innocent in all this, but I can't keep up the pretense of a happy family anymore. I can't live in a lie just because it makes everyone else comfortable. I know there was never going to be an easy way out of this. No matter what, someone was going to end up hurt. But even knowing that, this still feels like hell. I have no idea what happens next. I just know I can't go back. Final update. It's been about 7 months since my first post here. Everything in my life came crashing down, and the divorce is finally over. Legally, financially, emotionally, I got as close to a clean split as I could. I'm no longer the legal father of my youngest. The court ruled that I'm not the father, and my name will be removed from his records. I fought hard for that, and at least now I'm not legally responsible for a child that was never mine to begin with. My ex and her family, of course, lost their minds over this. They've been on my case for shirking off responsibility for my son, acting like I'm the one who did something wrong. From the beginning, I've been open about what happened. I told my side of the story to everyone in our social circles, mutual friends, extended family, and even some coworkers who had questions. Most people are staying out of it. They understand it's a mess and don't want to take sides. But her and her family just don't get the hint. Her parents, her siblings, even a few of her cousins keep going around bad-mouthing me. I've told them the same thing over and over again. Find the real father. If they're so concerned about these kids having a stable father figure, maybe they should be tracking down the man my ex actually had them with instead of harassing me. But apparently that's too much effort. Easier to stick them on me, I guess. As for the practical side of things, I've moved out of our house. The only thing tying us together now is our house, which we're in the process of selling. It was our only major asset, so once that's done and the money is divided, I'll be completely free of her. The only unresolved thing is my oldest. Legally, he's still my son. Financially, I'm still responsible for him. And because of that, I'm taking my time figuring out what kind of relationship I want to have with him. He's only 5, and none of this is his fault. No matter how much I resent his mother, I don't resent him. If I'm going to be on the hook financially, why shouldn't I be in his life? More than that, he deserves to know the truth. He deserves to know what happened and where he really comes from, even if it takes years for him to fully understand it. For now, I'm focusing on getting my name scrapped off the birth certificate. I lost a lot, everything basically, but I'm going to keep going. Edit. I got back my infertility test results. I'm not infertile. That gives me hope regarding having my biological child one day. Some comments. Classic cheater move. Burn down the family, then blame the person they betrayed for walking away from the fire. Her family's just mad because they know they can't fix this. They want you to stay because it's easier than admitting their daughter's the one who caused this mess. Glad to hear you got a clean break, mostly, and I hope you find peace after this nightmare. You're blaming your ex's family for being upset, but can you really be surprised? You spent years raising these kids, and then you just walked away like they were never yours. You're legally responsible for the oldest, but you're talking about whether you should have a relationship like it's some burden. You were their dad, man. DNA aside, that doesn't just disappear overnight. You did the right thing. People love to preach about biology doesn't make a father until they're the ones being lied to and manipulated. You didn't abandon your kids. You were never given the chance to be their father in the first place. The fact that her family keeps harassing you instead of tracking down the real father says everything. Stay strong and keep moving forward. You keep saying her family should find the real dad, but what about you? You raised these kids for years and now you're acting like they're just someone else's problem. Biology or not, you were their father. Kids aren't possessions to be returned when they're not yours. You could have fought for a middle ground instead of cutting and running.